fact, there's no carbon in it. And this would seem to be rather a crucial requirement if you want to perform carbon dating. Minor point, apparently.
They start with the assumption that dinosaurs lived 70 million years ago. If I took this to a laboratory and said, would you please date this, they would say, oh, well, we'd have to use something other than carbon dating because this is too old for carbon dating.
No, Kent, they wouldn't. They'd say,
Oi, Havin! We can't carbon date this! There's no f***ing carbon in it!
and didn't you say the same thing yourself just a minute ago? It's been replaced by minerals. Now, you would have thought that an absence of carbon would dissuade even the dumbest creationist from taking a completely mineralized fossil to be carbon dated in a laboratory. And you'd be wrong.
Hugh Miller in Columbus, Ohio, had 4 dinosaur bone samples carbon dated. They told him they were 20,000 years old. He didn't tell them they were dinosaur bones. If he would have said, this is a dinosaur bone and I want you to carbon date it, they would have said, oh, we can't date that because it's too old.
No, they would have said,
Oi, Miller! We can't carbon date that, you idiot! There's no f***ing carbon in it!
so if there's no carbon in it, how come it dated to 20,000 years old? Well, we now have to tell the Miller's tale, as told by Mike Lafferty, science correspondent for the Columbus Dispatch. In 1991, he tracked down the place where Miller had got his dinosaur sample, the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. Miller didn't tell them he was going to carbon date these pieces of mineralized fossil, because if he had, they'd have said to him,
There's no f***ing carbon in it!
so he did something completely out of character for a creationist, and didn't come clean about what he wanted to do with the sample. Unaware that his precious bone specimen was about to be destroyed in a pointless exercise for the creationist cause, James King, the director of the Carnegie Museum, warned Miller that the bones had been covered with shellac and other unknown preservatives. Shellac, of course, is an organic material chock full of carbon. To a real chemist preparing to carbon date a sample, this would have rung alarm bells about the danger of contamination. But not Miller. He sent his samples to the University of Arizona's Laboratory of Isotope Geochemistry for carbon dating. Then a second alarm bell was sounded. Austin Long, professor of geochemistry,